we're talking about Ghanaian youth poverty. We're actually analyzing the economic and business perspectives of this topic. Last week we did something from the church perspective. We analyzed this problem. The whole issue is as follows: that a research study shows that of all the migrant young people or youth in Amsterdam, the Ghanaians have the highest in terms of living in the income households below the standard or the minimum income, and so they are classified as living under poverty or living in poverty. So the Ghanaian proportion is 48%, and that is the highest among all the young people or the youth in Amsterdam. And of course, this is quite disturbing. It's not so nice to hear, but for us, it's a wake-up call to see what we can do. So that notwithstanding, in conjunction with the City of Amsterdam, the District of Southeast Council, we have undertaken to organize a series of discussions around this topic in the hope to stimulating thoughts and ideas for change. Today, we'll be looking at the economic and business undertones to the poverty problem. And thus, it's a fact that there are some Ghanaians who have successfully broken the poverty barrier, and some of these will be here or are here in the studio actually to share their thoughts on this matter. The question is, did they succeed by dint of sheer luck or by proven strategies or methods? Our guest this morning I have once again Mr. Steve Owusu, who is staying on from the previous broadcast. Please say hello to our listeners one more time. Yes. Hello.
Again, I would thank you for having me here. It's always a pleasure talking to our listeners.
Yes.
So I think it's going to be a useful thing at the end of it all.
Thank you very much. We also have Mr. Kofi Bedu Bonsu. He's also a community leader. Say hello, please get close to the microphone and say hello to us.
Well, thank you very much. Good morning, listeners. I'm pleased to be here with you today to express my views about the situation of the Ghanaian youth, the poverty of the Ghanaian youth in this district. Thank you very much.
All right. The third panelist is on his way. Another panelist is supposed to join us from overseas, but we're going to connect with him as he becomes available. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for being here. And let's kick off. Okay. Now let's kick off, and let me start off by asking the question. And this question is going to go to Mr. Kofi. Mr. Lamte just joined us. Mr. Lamte, before you say that, you can just say hello to our listeners.
Good morning.
Okay. All right. Okay. Now, let me keep on asking: is this question, this problem, the poverty problem that we've heard about, which the study has, brought out, is this problem a symptom of the typical urban malaise caused by which causes youth poverty and unemployment? Because usually in the urban cities you tend to have this kind of problems like this, whereby you have certain pockets of the community, some of them with young people, trapped by poverty and unemployment. So would you say this is a symptom like that, part of urbanization? A result of urbanization. Okay, Mr. Kofi, you're still busy. That question is for you.
Relating to the issue affecting the Ghanaian youth, I think I would like to say simply that poverty is not inherent. The African youth are not owners of poverty. They are rather victims of the situation, and I would rather call it youth crisis instead of poverty of the youth, because they are really not responsible for it.
Okay, all right. Keep it that way. I will get back to you, Mr. Lamte. You want to weigh on that quickly? Is this an urban issue? Is it an urban problem? Is it as a result of the fact that okay, you have a lot of young people here in this part of the city or the country or the municipality?
Well, I think, once again, good morning to our listeners.
Yeah.
It's really a very dicey situation, I think, and a very intricate one for that matter, because we're talking about poverty, and you cannot dissociate poverty from what I would call your resource base. And by resource base, you need to have some income anyway, because we're talking about youth who are at the employable age.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, and this is at a time that the jobs are just not available. And if the jobs are not available, my brother just said they are not creating the situation, but they are at least an environmental situation that has made creatures of them. And this is what we could deal with as a crisis. And the crisis managing it, if you link it up with organization, you think in terms of where there is influx of people, few jobs and many are chasing. But that's really, the reality today is not the case. The jobs are just not there. And so if we look at it critically, then we talk about how do we create intervention, measures to save the situation. And that has to do with job creation. Who is going to create the jobs?
Precisely. I believe that personally, I feel embarrassed when I hear this thing. Why should it be Ghanaians, having height, and so I'm prompted immediately to see what can be done. So I want us all to look at it from that perspective that we are being challenged to do something about our situation. And you just said, or asked a question, who is supposed to create the jobs? It's very easy for everybody to want to look up to the central government, but I think now the ball is kind of being thrown back into our court to say, okay, now this is your problem, what are you going to do about it? So that's how I say, Mr. Steve, you want to weigh in on that?
Well, probably to jump into and continue from probably where Mr. Lamptey ended, like he did say that the jobs aren't there, who is to create them? So probably looking at that problem in isolation, I would say that if the jobs aren't there, would we or can the youth have an alternative, like creating their own jobs? In this case, could they then come up with their own businesses? And vis-a-vis the economic environment, with the environment be that enabling for them to create, and it's not simply creating, but making sure that it is properly created and eventually becomes a useful thing.
Yes.
Useful in the sense that a business has to be healthy, a business has to be sustainable, a business has to be profitable for the individual and of course for the community.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So again, the question is, could the creation or the coming up of one's own business be part of the solution if the jobs aren't there, like my colleague did say?
Yes. Now, I think that there's a lot to think about as far as this matter is concerned, and I guess that is why we're being stimulated to really talk and to think about it. And I want to be hopeful that something will come out of it. It won't just be talk, but that's something. But again, I think those of us who are community leaders or Ghanaian senior citizens, so to speak, we have been challenged, I think, to put something in motion, as it were, which can begin to make a way for this like that to happen. Now, you are, from the business, area. You are a business consultant. You promote business and you advise people in business. We got to really do some thinking as far as this matter is concerned. But let's switch gear a little bit. I want us to answer the question, what is the impact? What do you think is the impact of the family circumstances of our youth on this poverty issue that we're dealing with? Do you think their family backgrounds really, immediate family backgrounds are part of the problem? Because it is said that most of the young people are coming from single parent backgrounds who also are on minimum income, so to speak. So can you please comment on that? Any of you can please take the floor.
Well, I think the family issues also count to some extent.
Yeah.
And the policy of the system, or the policies of the system also count to a very great extent.
Yeah.
I think the community, the district should intervene in this situation at the same time that the families also come in, try to contribute in the way they educate the children.
Yeah.
So that they know that coming back from their cultures, they come into a new system where it is not the same as where they come from.
Yeah.
And I think that there should be an equation here, a very good equation to be established, so that there will be some balance. And as soon as the balance is established, I think the youth can find their place.
Now, I think indeed the youth should be able to find their place, but those of us who are like parents or who are like, let's say, the older generation, we need to create a platform which will facilitate or kind of support the youth really finding their place. I think the ball falls back squarely in our court again.
Well, a youth empowerment platform is necessary.
Yeah.
That is to tackle the issue of the youth crisis. It is crisis. It's a question of crisis. So there should be a platform, a youth platform for empowerment. It is imperative.
Yeah.
That is my point of view.
I totally agree with you. Let me make this point. You see, because I want us to compare ourselves with the other ethnic or migrant groups within the community. There are many of them: Moroccans, the Turkish, Surinamese, and the Antillean, the rest of them. But if this study shows that we have the highest level of poverty, then I think we should now see what to do to kind of change the picture. Yeah. Yes, sir, Mr. Lampe, you're smiling, so you want to say something. Maybe you're saying something funny.
Yeah, over the years, you wonder where exactly the community stands. And some of us who have been in the thick and thin of
Everything.
These community issues. And incidentally, we happen to be, a bit passionate observers. I cannot imagine dealing with the youth without even getting hold of the families or parents themselves. You mentioned Moroccans, and then now the emphasis is on Ghanaians. Now, what we have to come to terms with is the fact that the Moroccans have been here longer than we have. And a good number of them are in strategic places more than others. If we put your finger on how many Ghanaians are really in
key positions, yes,
you never can get anywhere with it. And if you analyze that, incidentally, just last Friday, I sat in a session we looked at fatherhood, but you cannot talk about fathers without talking about mothers, and for that matter, we're talking about parents.
Yeah.
And the basic complaint now is the system itself. Some of us came over here at a very ripe age.
Yeah.
I'm a Ghanaian mate, and I came here when my values are already formed. I don't think there's anything adding to whatever my background upbringing is when I got here.
Yes.
And those, either you brought your child here or you had them here.
Yeah.
But how many of us are really in a position to understand the culture these children are growing? So where is the control base of the parents? The children who happen to come from homes that their parents don't even speak Dutch, when they grow up a bit, they think their parents are stupid. Yeah, because they cannot communicate with them. So the control, first and foremost, because if you have your values as a parent, the next thing is to be able to pass on those values to the child. But where communication is lacking, you find a situation where a good number of Ghanaian parents don't really have control in their homes. And here is the situation. Look, if you take a good picture of this so-called unemployment situation, you even ask yourself, how many of these Ghanaian children really got good advice to go for careers that at the end of the day, job opportunities are there. Most of them decide what they want to do themselves, forget about what the schools are, because at the end of the day, you as a parent, you should be able to look at the situation ahead of the child. When you are in control of the situation, then you can help the child decide. Because I happen to also, of course, from the platform of Sanma, we deal with these issues as well, with the financial support from the staff. And I have looked at this situation first on a brainstorming level with the youth themselves, and then I've done also a workshop on it. Now, what they are saying now is that, look, we have moved from a manufacturing market economy into service area. And you ask yourself, did our youth thought along that line quickly? Because at the end of the day, you may go and do a course that you finish. You cannot create a job for yourself, and the job is not there. So what do? You just drift.
Yes.
You see, so let's be very practical about the situation.
Okay.
And unfortunately for me, honestly, there's so much being invested in this so-called dealing with this poverty issue.
Yes.
But what we are doing today, I must be very frank, I think people fear radicalism. I don't want to sound radical. But the thing is that whatever it means going on, how many people are aware in this so-called project we are doing, and there are a whole lot of activities all over there? How much of it is even consciously within the community, and people know what is being done? We don't. There's no platform for us as Ghanaians here in this country. There's no platform, no common platform. We are dealing with the issue on organizational basis. Okay? I organize sessions, I invite a whole lot of people, they don't turn up. And if you tell me you are dealing with the situation as parents, I'm sorry, we are not ready to deal with this problem. I'm not sure we are ready to deal with it. Where is the common platform? There's no common platform.
Well, you know, organizations like yourself, maybe Pan-African Media, Voice of Naija, and many others who are aware of this problem, we have a responsibility to reach the grassroots. So if if we hear, if we know about it, and we do not take the message down there.
How long have you been talking about this? This report came out
last year. 1 year ago. Last
year. 1 year, November. Where are the conscious efforts to have a common platform to address this?
The question is, who is supposed to put up that platform? Is it
you and I?
Okay.
And the rest.
Okay. And this is where we have to really put our minds together and do something. And when I was talking about some of the other migrant groups, you realize that they also have young people among them, youth among them. There may be something that they are doing which has actually perhaps given a support base. Something may have given a support base so that they don't have the extent of the problem that we are having today, maybe. And the other thing is that we as Ghanaians lack a sort of cooperative relationship.
For years, this has been our actually still like
we lack that in order to be able to move on and to get things done. People always cite the Chinese as a very, very let's say organized
minority group.
Exactly. And also some of the Hindustani people. They create a system such a way that they support themselves. They support themselves. And they help business to move on. Let me just welcome our third panelist from Ghana. Hello, Richard. Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Good morning. How are you?
Good morning.
Richard Debois is joining us from Ghana. He's a business consultant as well. He's been working here for a long time, and he's currently doing some consultation for the Nigerian government. We are told. Welcome, and you're going to join us on this topic. I hope you're still online. Okay, good. So say a quick hello to our listeners, and then we'll proceed.
Yeah, hello.
All right.
Good morning.
Wonderful. Now, so Mr. Lamte, you were making a point. Go ahead.
Well, I wanted to really kind of interrupt when you mentioned that some of these organizations have youth among them. I'm wondering if you can tell me which of the organizations have youth among them. Because
no, I mean some the other ethnic groupings.
Okay, not the Ghanaian organizations.
Not only, I mean all the ethnic groupings that we're talking about.
Well, that comparison is all right, but let's focus on Ghanaians. The issue is which of the organizations among us as Ghanaian groups can confidently talk about having a grip on the youth.
No, we don't have a group.
No, even the youth themselves. The last we heard of when they had this GUSA. Ghanaian university students. Today, ask yourself, where is that group?
They have a good They have a good No, but they have Agude because
Which is that good?
Agude.
That's another one. Another one.
Yes, because yesterday on television
Can we speak?
I interviewed them. They have Agude.
Which is Agude? What is the meaning of?
Is a new one? It's a 16.
It's
for Ghanaians.
Yeah, graduates and undergraduates and some of them are even pursuing their doctorate degree, but they are just youngsters.
The question I asked,
so,
you have just called Madam a Ghanaian, and I'm sorry to say this, that I'm getting this information firsthand from you.
Yes, because yesterday on the television I don't know
how long they've been around here, but I'm talking about an organization that was known to us as a community, which is called the Ghanaian University Students Association.
Yes, sir. We remember when they were inaugurated.
Just last year
ask
they were
yourself,
inaugurated.
But
that organization has faded off.
Mr. Lante, you know what? I don't think we must speak from a level of, let's say, despondency or discouragement. I feel as if, we have failed or we cannot do anything about the situation.
Let's be realistic.
It is true. We may not have been effective in allowing information to trickle down to the grassroots for people to really know what's going on, so that we can mobilize them to get things done. To move along with us. We have to really rebuild that connection between ourselves and the grassroots.
Richard.
You see, so for us, we should really be thoughtful. Think about it. We shouldn't be passive at all.
We are trying to analyze the situation. Yeah. Look, I think sometimes we, I don't want to use the word chicken, out on issues. Actually, time it was. When the impression in this community, when I say this community, I'm talking again about the Ghanaian community, was that those who rally around behind some of these organizations will make livings out of that. Because when they hear subsidy, it means that you use the organizations to go and collect monies and squander that.
That is another notion.
I might be very blunt on some of these things, I'm afraid.
Speak it out, yes.
Because this is one basic problem why the youth themselves, their parents plant this thing in their minds, that those of us who are all over the place behind these organizations, we use them to collect subsidy.
Yes.
And so when you bring the youth...
I heard one of these recently and I was surprised. I said, wow, what kind of ignorance is this?
This is a problem we have.
I think... Sorry.
Yes, exactly. That's very wrong.
I think it all comes to a point. That if we decide to set up a platform to bring together all the organizations who are interested in participating in the youth crisis, I think that will wipe away all this way of collecting money and mishandling funds which are meant,
Is there any mishandling? No. Is there really any issue about mishandling of funds? I haven't heard anything like that.
Well, as
these are deliberate rumors.
No,
these rumors.
Some of us have been around for a long time.
Yes. So if these rumors are correct, then I think we should do something about it.
There's nothing like rumors. You see, you should have made me to finish. The point is that the youth, I can tell you how many of the youth personally I brought along onto the organization I now operate on, this Akasanoma. Okay? But when they come and realize that the notion they have about these monies are there, we just squander them. There's no money. Most of them are doing this thing on sacrificial basis.
Exactly.
So when the youth, you bring them on board, they realize that it is not what they hear from their parents. They don't stay. And they are gone. The next moment. You understand? And without having some of them on board, there's no way you can deal with this situation by involving them, actively in dealing with this problem.
No,
because the parents, these are the things that
it's very wrong notion. People don't realize. Look, right now we're on air. We're not operating from here for free. We pay for the time we're here, and other things we do to facilitate the broadcast. You see, and so if the SARS decides to give a subsidy or buy airtime, as they sometimes call, it is a way to facilitate whatever we're doing, so that the information can go out, because everything goes for money here. So, and I'm coming. I've known you for a long time.
Yes.
In the days of Sikaman Foundation, and all the things that you were running out there.
Yes.
There's no way you can look. If you don't pay your rent for 1 month, they kick you out.
No.
You see, so all these things the subsidy or whatever which has been coming, it goes to run this. There's no other way
The
to run.
subsidy even is
How much? Yeah,
no,
because
that's
it's
not
good
the
to
question.
think.
How much is the subsidy?
Exactly. It's not even enough to run the thing, even to pay anybody as a full-time work. So that's besides the point. Now let's go
Can
back
only
to
take care of the
let's
airtime
go back
and
to our main topic.
your rent.
Okay,
for
let
the
me
boat.
ask the question. Do you think that the school system we have here is a part of the youth poverty problem? The school system?
Directed at me?
Yeah, all of us.
Shall I start there?
Yeah, go ahead.
If you permit.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Yes, go ahead, please. Go ahead.
I think the school system is part of the problem, really part of the problem. Maybe to some extent part of the solution, because there are some of the youth who are able to succeed, in getting a job after the training, after they complete their studies. But
very few,
the percentage is very low.
Yeah.
It's very appalling.
So you think the school system is to blame also?
Yes, it's a blame, and some of the youth are rather obliged to undertake certain courses which don't appeal to them.
Okay.
By obligation. Otherwise, their parents wouldn't receive any social benefit.
Okay, now hold it right there. let me invite Richard. Please come in on and give us your perspective on this, please.
Yeah, let me come in because I went to school from primary to secondary to the university, and of course, the school system is not perfect, but no school system is perfect.
Okay.
What I miss here is the responsibility of the parents and the responsibility of the youth itself. Simply, like going to school is not enough. Getting the diploma and all those things, everybody can do it. But the whole issue that you were talking about is doing voluntary work and all those things. That is the additional value that you can add on your CV. And most Ghanaian youth, most migrant youth don't do those kind of things. So when you go for an application, job application, you will lose because others will have the same diplomas, but will have done all sorts of exchange programs, have done all sorts of voluntary work and all those things. So even you yourself with your radio station, if somebody comes, a Ghanaian comes or an African comes, has no any experience, but the other side, somebody else will come with an experience, have done a radio station somewhere and all those things. Who do you take? The one with experience, isn't it?
Yes.
You'll be surprised, Richard. Let me just interject. Some people, we have invited them to come to the radio program, and the next thing they ask us is, how much are you going to pay me for coming? It's so ridiculous. As if we're running a commercial organization. This is a foundation. I mean, we're running on sometimes gifts and subsidies and some of our own money. So it's ridiculous. Please go ahead. Mindset has to change also, I think.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I think you can set up organizations, you can set up all sorts of things, and you can get all the funds that you get. But then the point is, it is time that we really look back on the reasons for being in Europe.
Yeah.
What were the reasons for the parents to come to Europe? To have a better life. So why not take the opportunities that they are there? I'm not saying that it is easy, but then you have to fight for it. When you come to Africa, you see there are not a lot of opportunities, but everybody wants to go to school.
Yeah.
But when you are in Europe, nobody wants to go to school. What is the problem? Why is it that it seems like when you enter the Netherlands or Europe, they take out your brains and then you become dumb?
No, he's telling you what is
the truth, because we spoke with some young people here in this program, and they told us the kind of pressure in quotes that's once they are here, they're required to contribute to the family legacy. They are required, and so I mean, especially when it comes going to school, it's not really an option. I mean, they are put in a situation whereby they have to decide by themselves.
But listen, I don't know if your boy is landed.
I think he has, yes. I think he has, yes.
Now, don't let's miss out things.
No,
because even making a child, depending on the age, to see how it is to live a responsible life. I don't see it as wrong if the child can make some contributions, okay? But except when it gets to a point of abuse, then you can ask questions. So don't let's confuse the young ones who probably the parents ask them to take up some responsibilities, whether financially or not.
But they don't want to do that. That's
No.
what the youths are saying.
No, the thing is, that's how you manage it.
Yeah, okay.
Because the issue is this. Yabua made a point that some of us as parents may have your agendas while we came here.
Exactly.
Now, you don't impose your agenda on the child.
Yes.
Because the child, let's take it easy, the child has a different culture of life.
It's true.
Especially those born into the culture here. But it is not wrong to imbibe that sense of commitment and responsibility in the child. Please, it's not wrong.
It's very good.
No, not at all.
But when the child is not made to understand and you doing it at the level the child can afford, then you are getting it wrong. Okay? Because at the end of the day, you just said it, how many of the parents are really comfortable financially? Most of us came here at the age that even getting a job is a problem. You don't have qualifications. Sorry?
I think you got me wrong. I'm not.
Oh, no. I don't mean you. It's a point that Pastor Larry said that some homes, children are made to bear responsibility about sending monies, to the extended families. That's all I'm commenting on, not about yours.
I think we shouldn't go into that level. Because
No,
more or less concerned is that, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, this debate was being held. But they're not among the Ghanaians, but among the Surinamese, among Italians.
So they're divided.
So, but then, have in mind that in the 80s, when the Ghanaians came, a lot of them got children. So now that they are now becoming statistics. So the problem is we should look at our policies that have been put on side, and we should conclude that the policies are not working.
Exactly.
And that is the issue that we have to discuss about.
The governmental policies are not working.
No, because
Can you explain? Me?
Working. Excuse me to say it, but it seems like most Ghanaians, especially those in Southeast living there, they are blocked. Everything that you have done is Southeast, but there's more than only Amsterdam Southeast, and it's up to us to show young people that as long as you are growing up in Netherlands, as long as you are growing up in Europe with all these opportunities, Europe is your marketplace. So when you are looking also for a job, when you are looking for a study to do, look at the European Union. Don't focus only on a job that maybe you can get in Amsterdam Southeast.
Exactly.
And that is the difference between, let's say, the native Dutch
and us.
Basically, looking brother.
Okay, so again, again.
I remember some of my colleagues, they were going for internship in Japan, Vietnam, and all those things. And I quite remember that when I mentioned to friends that, I want to go to Ghana, Ghanaian friends, they were like, what are you going to do in Ghana? What are the opportunities there? But because of that, now I'm able to do some projects and assignments here in Africa. So we should also look at those points. What kind of career opportunities are there for Ghanaians? What kind of opportunities are there? Because even here in Africa, there's a need for talents. Even, there's like plumbing, those kind of jobs that we don't regard in the Netherlands. But those are, if you have that expertise, do you know what kind of jobs opportunities are here for you? And I'm not saying that you are then going to be the one who's going to do the plumbing. No. You will be the foreman. You can set up your businesses and all those kind of things. But we should talk about those kind of opportunities and possibilities and leave the subsidies and all those things because those things will not help you. Because even with the subsidies, they will tell you what to do.
Exactly.
So assuming that we say that, we have seen that there are opportunities in agriculture. The subsidy will not give you the opportunity to build talents in agriculture.
You mean governmental subsidies? But that's not the issue here.
This should be corrected when you mention subsidy. I mean, some of us who are in these so-called, community-based organizations, I don't see why I have to sit on that committee and take money from my pocket to run the organization. When we talk about, I don't know which subsidy everyone is talking about.
I'm not saying that. The point is that we are blindfolded by subsidies.
What kind of subsidy are you talking about?
Yeah, the point is, nobody is blindfolded, but it is the misconception around subsidy. That's what we're talking about.
No, I think, Richard, you're mixing it up.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying we are talking about, how come young people, especially Ghanaians, are unemployed, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then we're talking about, what can we do as community to solve this kind of issue?
Problem,
Isn't it?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, so then the point is that, in the Netherlands you can get subsidies to do some of the projects, capacity building and all those things, isn't it?
Okay, yes.
Yeah, but then the question is, in which directions will the subsidy, because every subsidy has its own directions.
Yes, that's right.
And all purpose. And the question is, have we done an analysis that, does it favor us?
No, but the issue is, I think we know each other very, very well. And when you were here, time it was, you had a number of meetings with Sikaman. Am I correct?
Yeah.
That's right. And when you mention Sikaman and you mention subsidy, what is your understanding of what we're talking about?
No, I understand that, of course.
Yes, because if you run an organization like Sikaman those years, you definitely have to knock on the door of the to get some support.
There's no question about it.
Yes, that is
what. Having any problem with that.
That is exactly what, when we talk about subsidy, that's all. For me, I don't go beyond that.
He's saying, there are other subsidies meant for capacity building, so that the young people can be strengthened, so they can find their place. But he's saying that, he's saying, the goals of those subsidies to build capacity among our young people is not working. That's why the young people, they're not working.
If it is not working, it is a policy base that is making it
exactly.
not work.
That's what he's saying.
The authorities themselves, they don't understand the mentality and the culture of our community. And that's the problem. They can never understand it if we are not ready to analyze it to the level that they will understand it.
Yes, absolutely.
Steve.
Okay.
He wants to speak.
Steve, let's hear you out.
Well, I think the whole thing is...
Concrete example.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was trained and brought up in a church without any subsidy. The talents that I have now is based on the experiences that I got there from the church.
You see?
The youth groups, organizing youth groups,
I'm happy.
youth days and all those
The church
things.
is doing something.
And it's not about, the point is, the church is also an organization. So I'm not saying that it's always the church.
Exactly, that's the point. There's no one way of doing things. So that's just a fraction of how we can solve the problem.
Because they feel that the church is doing
can also make it.
Yes.
Well, that's very good because it's a success story. And there are so many success stories that we hear when we attend international conferences.
Exactly.
So that success story, I approve of it.
Amen. Well, if you listen to this program, we want to let you know you have the chance to call in to ask a question or to pass some comments. Please give us a call on 0207376161. And we're talking about the poverty among Ghanaian youth. And these are some thought leaders are here trying to dissect the problem, and it's not an easy one. But I think we are able to deal with it. So if you're out there, you have a point, you have a comment, contribution, just give us a call, and we'll take your call. Now let me. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, sir. Original. Go ahead, sir.
I love the panel. They're doing a very good job. I have 2 points here to make. When I listened from the beginning of the program, I've seen that the problem is about this subsidy problem. If so, why don't we educate the youth and the public about this subsidy matter? Because you look as if they don't have knowledge about it, how the subsidy goes. So I think we have to let them know what the subsidy is and what it's all about.
No, Uncle, you're mixing it up. The poverty problem has nothing to do with subsidy. But rather, that's
the mindset of your people.
They want to come to radio. They are asking for money. Is that not correct?
Yeah, some of them have the notion that
if they assume that you guys are making some money. That's what I mean.
No, but
do you go to any
making radio is different from the poverty issue we are talking about, I think.
No, well, they are intertwined.
I'm coming there. I'm coming to the poverty.
Okay, go ahead.
The poverty, I think with the Ghanaian community, we are blessed. Why? The Moroccans and the Turkish were here before us.
Long time.
problem is we don't want to learn.
Yeah.
But we have to stay for a long time before we also
learn
succeed. I don't
all the
agree
time.
to that.
Learn from them.
No.
Let me
Yeah,
give you an
well,
example.
maybe let him finish.
I want to give myself as an example. I just went to a Turkish shop, a Turkish restaurant, and told them that, please, I love your restaurant. I want to work for you for free. They said, are you mad? I said, no. They said, how can you work for free? I said, yeah, I know the reason why. So when they took me and started working, the second time I told them that, in fact, I'm a cook and I want to know more about Turkish food. That's why I came in to work for them. They said, no, now we know. Because it's saying for them that someone will come to their restaurant and say you want to work for them for free. You see, I use one of our six. So civilians, they only use number 5. But we military people
We use number 6.
God bless you, Baba.
Okay, let's take this could be our last question. We haven't really gone
Oh
further.
my God.
Okay, do you think that we have an integration backlog into that system? Do you think that that's an issue? We have not really integrated, because if we reintegrate part of the society, perhaps things would have been better. Do you think we have a backlog in that regard?
If I'm given a chance, probably this time
go
around,
ahead.
I would have liked and loved to probably take us back to where we were, because I had wanted to get something
Could you
contributed.
get closer to your mic?
Yes, in the area of the possible solution and all the problem vis-a-vis the background of the families and what have you.
Yeah.
When I come in this way, I would always want to probably bring in these business links in a way. Of course, when we're talking about, like we said that as an alternative, coming up with one's own business could also be another source of one getting some sort of income and therefore helping with this solution with respect to this poverty thing.
Yeah.
But again, we, the Ghanaians, do have problems even when it comes to the area of coming up with one's own business, for instance.
May I suggest, keep it very, very brief, so very
Okay,
short
maybe
time.
time.
Just 1 minute each. I want everybody to just give their perspective on this question, and then we'll be finishing for now.
Okay, probably to have this ended abruptly, though it is. I think that the fact that Ghanaians have not been here for long is a factor when it comes to setting up one's own business. Getting the capital is a problem because you cannot get free money. The subsidy things normally is never meant for business setups.
Absolutely not.
Yes, the Surinamese, the Moroccans, and the Turkish have been here for a very long time. They have family businesses, and the youth could easily join this trade, unlike the Ghanaians, for instance, or the African per se. Yes. And again, we also did say something about the fact that we are apparently into the service industry. Yes, most of our parents, because we are still in the first distance era, the first generation thing. Most of our parents, even if they should be business oriented, are into this manufacturing area.
Mindset.
Mindset. Meanwhile, luckily for some of our youth, they would want and love to be in the service industry. The support is missing here because our parents are risk averse. They fear going into risky things. What do they know about the service industry?
Nothing.
So even if a youth should come up with an idea of wanting to organize events and or wanting to do something in the IT area or whatever, you always would need the support of your parent in a way. At the end of the day, it is the parent who might give you support in the sense of your having your things financed.
Okay.
But what can it be, or how could it be if the parent has no idea about all this? These are areas we could talk and talk and talk, and until probably the youth are able to struggle and come out on their own,
You're actually going to be on your time.
Anyway,
okay, Mr. Landis,
yes. Anyway, I'll cut it short here, and then maybe at
you
another
have a
time.
backlog problem.
Backlog
problem in terms of integration.
No doubt about that.
No doubt.
But you and I can't do anything about that. That's a foregone conclusion. I think we should leave it there.
Leave it there. Okay.
If we have children of ages around 30 and going, that is settled. The youth, we have adolescents among them, adults, young adults among them, so that I am not the one now going to talk to my 30-year-old plus child to understand what the system is.
No.
So why is that has no influence? So I don't think we should narrow it to a question of backlog of integration process. Those of us who are still here and have nowhere to go, we need to do something about that. You do it for yourself, honestly, because if you cannot read your letter, you cannot even listen to the news in Dutch, you know you have a problem, and that you can solve for yourself. But if we are discussing youth, please, some of the youth you are talking about, they are adults. They should know what is it exactly they want. They understand the system better.
But did you answer the question? Do we have a backlog problem?
We have, of course.
Okay,
but that's not an impact. That's no impact
on
yet.
the youth problem.
As of now, the damage is done already because the parents who should be able to guide their children up to this time, they've lost that opportunity and they can never, you can't go back. Wow. So let's focus on the youth.
Richard, 20 seconds if you can. Do you think we have a backlog issue in terms of integration?
Well, to be honest, no. Simple example is that I quite remember that when I was a little boy, when I wanted to cut my hair, I had to go to a Ghanaian house or go to a Surinamese barber shop. But now look at Amsterdam Southeast. Majority of the shops are Ghanaians.
All right, I'm sorry. Let me cut you now. We really are out of time.
But we are doing our best, so let's not say that we are lagging behind. Let's continue and strengthen the opportunities that we have.
Thank you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, on this one, we'd like to close. We'd like to end the discussion, unfortunately, because of time constraints. Let me seize the opportunity to thank you, Mr. Kofi Bedu Bonsu, for being on the show. Thank you very much. I'm sure we'd like to have you back again. Mr. Osebuso, thank you also for joining. You've been here for 2 hours now. God bless you richly. Mr. Lante, wow, I think there's a lot you want to say. We're going to have you back another time. Thank you, listeners. For Richard.
It's my pleasure.
Richard, all the way from Ghana, thank you for making time to join this conversation. God bless you richly. We value your insight and we definitely will have you back again. On this note, I want to wish you all and our listeners a very, very good week, and hopefully your December is blessed and peaceful and joyful. Thank you, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Met een compliment van de luisteraar wordt u aangeboden het nieuws. Het ochtendbulletin van maandag 1